Greetings to you all, and for today's devotion we read from Psalm 25:16 to verses 22. Psalm 25:16 to 22. Here we see the shift of the psalmist. He returns to direct address God in the second person. Now we see in Psalm 25, the psalmist was facing troubles from within. His own sin, he was struggling with his sin, and also troubles from with outside. So his enemies were hating him. There was hatred from his enemies. So the problem he is facing is twofold. Now from both, he pleads for release. He is pleading for release from his own sins and also from hatred from his enemies. He senses his loneliness. Now that he was without a helper because he himself is struggling with sin and his enemies are also hating. So he is feeling very lonely there. He feels hemmed or surrounded in by his troubles, and he wants to be taken out of his distress, his depression. And then listen as David expresses how much he needs the Lord. 16 to 19. He says, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted." How much David needs God. He is praying from deep inside his heart, from his deep inside the bottom of the heart, and saying, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted." Psalmist does not indicate what is his problem. This can be his daily prayer again instead of emergency prayer. Thus, this should be our daily prayer too. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. This should be our daily prayer. Our enemy Satan and his legions do not take break to disturb us. He is always searching opportunity to catch us and destroy us. Whether it's during the silent hours of the night or the quiet rest of a day off, whether during the busyness of family or the stress of work, Satan and his evil angels are scheming, making plans against us. He does not need an emergency to drive you away from God. Therefore, we should always pray this prayer. It should be our daily prayer. Turn to me, Lord, and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. David concludes the psalm in 20 to 22. "Guard my life and rescue me." See, he says, "Guard my life and rescue me." You see, we cannot guard our lives ourselves. Now, earthly life shouts at us, God is not guarding or rescuing you. Look, you Christians suffer just like anyone else suffers. You have to work and toil in life. So what is the difference there? When drought, floods, coronavirus, earthquake, or anything comes, they don't skip over your home. They affect you as well, you Christians also. Your Christians get sick and injured. You even die just like everyone else. So what is the difference? Where is your God guarding your life? That is what the earthly life shouts at us. In fact, Christians suffer even more because they follow Christ. Friends can abandon us if we let our faith shine too brightly. Sometimes doing the right thing costs us. It's tempting to think that if we place all our hope in the Lord, we will be left feeling disappointed and ashamed. Can we trust Him too much? That is, can we trust God too much? How tempting it can be at times to imagine that. No wonder David prays, "Guard my life and rescue me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you." Verse 20. The ultimate way He rescues us is by delivering us safely to heaven. The world sees death as the ultimate defeat. Rabbi Zacharias' death Rabbi Zacharias' death saddened many Christians. But for you, dear Christian, God has taken the greatest evil, namely death and the hell that follows, and turned it into good for you. For through death He brings you to the eternal refuge of heaven. Until that day, when He sends you death, like Dr. Rabbi Zachariah, we live for Him. We serve Him. We never take our death into our own hands if we were God. He has redeemed us with His own life, with His own life sacrifice on the cross instead of us. Therefore, we should pray like David prays in verse 20, "Guard my life and rescue me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge